What is going on?
What's up? What's up?
Well, welcome to Technical Issues Saturday.
It happens.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all good, man.
My earbuds keep doing this clicking thing every once in a while. So when you guys talk, I can't hear. So I tried to jump onto my laptop and my laptop just froze. So I came back to my phone. I'm like, I don't know what's going on. Wayne can't hear. My stuff is going crazy. I don't know what's going on.
Well, hey, I just learned that there's a mic hookup, a headphone hookup at the bottom of this mic. I didn't know that.
How long have you had that mic?
I don't know.
Like
a few months now. 3 or 4 months.
Oh, boy. Something crazy is going on. Oh,
guys, how are we doing? I'm going to go ahead and say this now before we even get into talking about it. I'm done with Star Wars. I'm done. I'm just done.
No, but actually, here's the thing, and not without getting into the later part of this. I was chatting with JKL afterwards because, of course, this was the first time all season that I actually watched the episode on a Friday, and because of course JB watches it as soon as he wakes up, and
I have to 4 a.m, or you can't go on social media. You can't. You can't. Spoiled.
So he's already sending in stuff, and then JKL's sending stuff. I was like, all right, I got to see this. I got to see what's going on. So I watched it, and of course Wayne's like, don't say nothing. So I started texting JKL, and I was like, you know what? There is a point where this makes complete sense.
There's no
why
point.
They did it. It sucks that they did it, but it makes complete sense.
There's 0 point where that makes sense.
It does.
Zero.
It makes sense. It's just that I didn't want to see it, though. I wanted to see someone else. Oh,
no.
I was rooting for Mace Windu. I was rooting for Mace Windu.
Something.
So
to be like,
we all know that we're talking about the big reveal is Luke. Luke is, and the way they did it was brilliant. And we're gonna get that when we break down the episode. But before we even get there, I want to ask you guys to a man. Think about this. Think about the question I'm going to ask you. And honestly, at the end of Return of the Jedi, Luke was a bad man, and we never got to see him be the bad man, because the next time we saw him, he was an old man hiding out on an island.
No, yeah, and
never got to see
that in between.
We never got to see what we saw, and seeing it was
awesome.
Here's why it makes sense. Here's the only reason I'm saying it makes sense. This is my thought, my theory. It's a two-parter. One, Disney had to finally have a connection, because Disney's all about connections when it comes to Star Wars. Whether you're an avid Star Wars fan and you don't want to see it, or you're a mediocre Star Wars fan and you finally Luke's in there. Trust me, I've been all over the internet. Everyone's loving that Luke's in this, but because they're maybe not complete Star Wars fans, and they just made a connection from what they loved to what they have now. That's first part. Second part is, if you really think about it in the timeline, now I was rooting for Mace Windu, but then again, in all reality, we don't even know if Mace Windu is even still alive. So
I was really Mace or Ezra.
Really, if you think about it, as far as the true Jedi Master, Luke's really the only one that we know of that is alive during this timeline. As far as a true Jedi Master, and as far as somebody that would have been able to sense that beacon that Baby Yoda put out. So there almost could have been nobody else that could have shown up but Luke. And trust me, if you look at it as far as a battle scene, he owned that place.
Actually,
I'm glad we converted you. It took 8 weeks, but we converted you.
I mean, as soon as I saw the green saber, I knew who it was. He didn't have to bring down the cloak. You knew exactly who it was. I was looking for a purple saber.
Now we cut to the end in the first, so we got everybody hooked.
Let's go all the way back to the beginning.
Let's read now, because the first question that we always ask is, who directed this episode?
Jon Favreau.
Was it Favreau again?
Favreau? Okay.
Yes.
I heard it was Peyton Reed, but okay.
Eric, hold on. Let me fact check that. Let me fact check it.
Let's fact check that.
I didn't check it. I just went.
Let's just say right now, and
I
think we need to. I think we need to start every episode like this.
Who directed?
Thank you, Filoni and Feige.
Thank you. Exactly.
Thank you.
They did
for
awesome.
giving us.
No, he is right.
My fandom is at an all-time high right now.
Yeah.
Peyton Reed directed it, but Jon Favreau wrote it.
Yeah. And Peyton Reed, he wrote, he directed the Ant-Man films, and he directed the second episode, I think, with the giant ant.
Oh yeah, he did. He did do the second episode too.
Wayne, I don't want to mess up the whole mojo of the show, but I didn't take any notes. I kind of just watched the episode like 2 or 3 times.
I didn't either.
So I'm not really the one to tell you how this thing opens, because I rewatched the last 20 minutes 3 times in a row. So I can tell you about what happens in the last 20 minutes, like to the detail. Well, but how this starts, I kind of don't even remember how the opening scene is. I don't even remember the opening scene.
I'm gonna bring up an opening scene, which was, to me, it was Mando and Boba going to go see Bo-Katan, and of course, Bo-Katan had a problem with Boba from the start because
yes,
that was cool. That was cool.
You had,
but didn't we have a debate on if he was the clone?
Hold on the shuttle. What?
Oh, there was something with that shuttle.
Yeah, they captured the doctor on the shuttle, on the Imperial shuttle.
Yeah, that was
them chasing down the doctor,
which was, I think, the smartest thing they could have done. Right? Yeah. I mean, they went and got the doctor. They needed some doctor. They
got some intel, because the intel that he provided was kind of huge.
Yes.
He was like, "Hey, this is the obstacle you're going to find. You gotta get to this room, but guess what? The Dark Troopers are right in between you and that room.
Right.
So, this is the plan. You're going to get on this ship. They're making the plan, right? We're going to get on the ship. And how long does it take to activate the Dark Troopers? Oh, X, Y, Z. Let's see if we can make it past that point before they power up." Which that thought was really cool, that power-up sequence, man. Yes. The tension that is building, the way they were building that tension as these power meters are coming up and these things are popping off and
with the dubstep in the background. That was awesome.
It was pretty cool.
No, but the best part about that opening scene was that dude talking trash to Cara Dune about blowing up her planet, and she's just like, "I don't care if you're holding this doctor, I'm blasting you away right away."
Yeah.
Earlier, when they get boarded. And she's like, the doctor's like, "Well, you guys gonna put up a fight?" He's like, "I ain't dying."
No. Yeah, right. No. Die? Get out of here.
Die? What is wrong with you, man?
But I like when
then the other one was like, he was gonna be fanatic, and it seems like we've seen every episode has given us a little glimpse of the fanaticism of the Empire, and not only that, it is also because that conversation prompted another example of. Stop and take a look at it from their point of view.
Exactly.
Yep. Stop and take a look at it from their point of view. Yep. There was 1 million people on the Death Star when that thing blew up. Yep. There was 1 million people on the Death Star when it blew up. And as far as he's concerned, you guys are all radical, fanatic, revolutionaries.
It's the same thing, right?
And he's happy.
It's really well done that we've gotten a glimpse of that in every single episode, because it really does start to build the tension and the overall mood of this, that there is 2 sides to this story. And as much as we don't want to ever hear their side, this was the first time I ever rooted for stormtroopers and stuff. I mean, come on. Now I'm starting to at least listen to what was going on. Now, obviously, they were all under the control of the Emperor and how he kind of twisted, Congress and everything. But still, that is very important to what they've built here. Because this is an adult show. It's not just a kid's show. There's adult commentaries and themes that happen here, and that's an example of it. That in this big thing, there's another side of the story. So they do take this guy, and they do develop a plan, and the plan's pretty cool. Yeah. I think the plan's pretty good, right?
It actually getting him was big to the plan, because they didn't know the Dark Troopers were on the ship.
Yeah.
So he was like, no.
But they never really
Dark Troopers here, man. Y'all got to watch out for these guys, because if they didn't take care of the Dark Troopers, it'd have been done. Luke would have came in at the end. Everybody would have been dead already.
They still never really revealed why they grabbed him, other than for insurance. Yeah, I mean, they never really told us what he was for, other than insurance.
Other than intel, that's the only thing I could think
It was to give the intel. That's all. It was,
plot. See, because I thought it was for insurance. I thought if I grab the doctor, they need the doctor to get the blood, and they need the doctor to do all of that.
So I never thought of that at all. I thought it was for the intel the whole time too.
I looked at it as an insurance policy. I grabbed the doctor, and if you don't give me the child, I don't give you the doctor.
I think I would have thought that even Moff Gideon would have been like, "Well, we got 5 other ones sitting right here that already knows the same shit, so whatever."
Yeah, they got the computer banks and the information and other doctors. There's only one child. Like, yeah.
Here's the plan. They're going to enact the plan. They come out of hyperspace, and Boba is putting on the show, shooting at him. They're screaming, "We need to land! We need to land!" And they're in an Imperial, ship. So they're like, "Okay, what's up?"
Jay, before you go much further, you skipped
hold
something
on.
that I wanted to talk about there.
Yeah,
I thought we discussed that Boba wasn't a clone.
Boba is a clone.
No, he is a clone.
Boba is a clone.
He's an unmodified clone.
You're talking about in the bar where she says, "I heard this voice."
Yes, hundreds of the time she says, "I've heard."
And then she makes a comment. She said, "He goes, well, this armor belonged to my dad," and she said, "Or your donor."
Yeah,
right. Yeah.
Yeah,
which technically
brutal,
is what he was.
That was brutal.
And she was ready to kill him. I mean, in her eyes, she was just going to take his
fight in the bar between those two, and how they use their tools differently, because it looks like Bo-Katan's, fighters are good at maneuvering in small spaces using their jetpack. She used her jetpack to get momentum off a wall. To
gave him a DDT.
Yeah, but to me, I don't know if you guys picked up on it too. Is there was where Mando was always that way. You shouldn't be wearing this armor, but she was the first one to be defensive of him wearing the armor this time.
Well, but that's because they're still Mandalorians. I kind of had this discussion with my daughter. So Mando would be the old school, like the old religion Catholics, and then they would be the new school religion Catholics. So they still believe the same things. They just go about them in a little different way, in a little bit of a different way. So they believe you take the helmets off, but they also believe that you shouldn't have that armor unless you're a Mandalorian.
Right.
I mean, so they're still following the guidelines. They just loosened up on them a little.
But at that point, which side did Jango fall under?
What do you mean?
Well, Jango was part of the true Mandalorians. That's a whole different section.
That's question. If that was Jango's armor, then really, where did Jango fall in the world of Mandalore?
Yeah, well, he was more like he wasn't one of those never take your helmet off types, but he followed a lot of the true Mandalorian customs outside of the keep your helmet on at all times thing. So he was a hardcore Mandalorian too, but they had like their thing was like war was the best. They're like Asgardians, like dying in war, and war was the greatest thing ever. So that's kind of what they were about. And he led the Mandalorians for a short period of time because he had the Darksaber. So
but here's another thing that we did miss, and I didn't catch it until, of course, towards the end of the episode. But before when they're putting together their plan, Bo-Katan was basically just like, Moff Gideon's mine. Don't touch Moff Gideon.
Yeah.
Moff Gideon's mine. And of course, I didn't think much of it at the time because I didn't know, how a lot of this stuff works. And there was true reason for that.
Yeah. No, I was all on top of that. I knew that she was wanting that Darksaber.
Yeah.
Well, I knew she wanted it, but I didn't know that she had to earn it type thing.
Yeah, but see, in Rebels, when Sabine had the Darksaber, she gave it to Bo-Katan, and Bo-Katan took it. There was no fight. So the fact that this time felt like she
we don't know how she lost it, right? We don't know how she lost it to
right.
And maybe that's how she lost it. It was pointed out, it ain't yours until you earn it.
Right.
Well, I thought he kind of explained that. I think that Darth Gideon explained that when he said you only get the powers if you take it.
No, Moff did explain that later, but no, right now we don't know how it got from her to him. And maybe that story is it was pointed out you did not earn this. Right. You're not the rightful heir because we didn't get to see that cartoon. That cartoon hasn't been aired. It doesn't happen. So
take us to the next one. Take us to the next one. Right after the bar.
So we get the bar, and then we did do the plan, and then of course now we're back up to where we were. They're playing the scene of them trying to launch that damn plane right through the middle of that ship.
Okay, tell me
to the launch tube.
The TIE fighter launches.
That was awesome.
Freaking epic, bro.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
That is a Disney ride waiting to happen right there, man. I will line up to get up and launch me. You know what that reminded me of? Another one of these great sci-fi is that I was a huge fan of Battlestar Galactica specifically because of the launch of those little when they shoot out the tunnel. That scene when I was a kid, every time Battlestar Galactica was on, used to drive me crazy. And that's what that reminded me of. These TIE fighters lining up and then just getting shot up, catching that momentum out of there was awesome.
Now, who doesn't want to jump in a TIE fighter and launch themselves out of it?
That could be a roller coaster ride at Disney. I didn't even really think about that. I mean, they just launched right out there.
Day.
Yeah, that's the new ride coming. It'll be there 2022.
No, they're too busy building the Star Wars hotel right now.
That's pretty cool. That's
be part of the hotel.
So JP, walk us through the next scene. We're into the next scene.
So now we've got TIE fighters deployed. They're coming in hot, and Bo is piloting this, right? And she's like, I'm coming in. And they're telling her, no, don't come in. And she just come crashing through. And what's the next? Here's our C. Well, first Boba takes off, he's gone. And here comes our shoot 'em up. Gotta have to shoot 'em up. Here's the shoot 'em up. And 4 women.
Yes.
4 female characters come out ablazing.
Kicking all
video game style, tearing it up, just knocking fools out from a distance, flying around, just getting all kind of crazy. And then the plan is for Din Djarin to kind of sneak out on the low and be in the shadows and go get Grogu, which is what he does, quite cleverly.
Yep.
So now they're making their way to the bridge because that's the plan. They said, we're going to meet at the bridge. Meet us at the bridge. And as they're, just kind of tearing through, there's a couple of fight scenes I think that we didn't need. I didn't need Cara taking her, jammed gun, and
you had to give us something to do.
Throwing us some wrestling moves. I didn't, I probably could have passed. You probably could have edited that out.
I got a question. How does a gun jam if it's shooting lasers?
I thought the same thing. Dude. I thought the same thing.
No, this is stupid. But when she does get it unjammed, there's another scene as the doors open and she just starts, laying waste.
Them down. That's right.
Now, Din Djarin gets to the spot. Here it is. He gets to the spot and opens the door, and Moff's already up in there.
Well, no. First, hold on. He had to fight. He got to the spot, and then he realized, oh crap, the dark troopers are already starting to come out.
I want one.
They're at Walmart right now.
But we did forget about Mando fighting the Dark Trooper, which almost owned it.
Oh my goodness!
Would have absolutely
the
killed
Dark
them.
Troopers are activated. They take off, and Mando has to fight one of them, and he ends up being able to lock the rest of them behind the door and shoots them off into the space, which was brilliant. Yep. So he's only got the one to deal with, and again. This Beskar is some bad stuff, bro.
He's pounding him in the head with that thing, and that thing's not busted.
Man, listen.
Without that helmet, he is flat and pancake because this robot is just throwing bomb after bomb to the helmet.
It was denting in the metal behind him.
His head was crushing the metal behind it. You'd think there'd be some concussion in there, right? Knocked around.
Oh boy.
How does he end up? I can't remember how
he the spear out, and then
he hit him with the whistling birds. He hit him with fire. He finally took him down with the spear.
Well, he finally figured out the weak spot was the neck. I mean, their weak point was their neck. I mean, so he got lucky to the spear in the right spot. Yeah,
jam that thing up in there.
Yeah. Luckily, I mean, it was one of those.
Then that's when he went to Moff.
Yes,
that was only one of them, and there was a squadron that just got ejected into space.
Yep.
Stay tuned.
But I had a feeling after he killed that one, he knew how to kill them all. Right? I mean, they could have just come at him at that point, and he would have just been hitting him in the neck. It wouldn't have been a waste of let me try and hit you with everything I got.
But we got to get to the scene. But I'm still sorry. When you've got dark troopers pounding through a secure door.
Yeah.
The only reason Mando survived was that he had Beskar helmet on. Otherwise, he would have chopped his head like a egg.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, he'd have been done. He would have been so done.
But when he opens that door and there's Moff Gideon there, what did we think?
Well, I knew Moff Gideon was going there.
I kind of figured he was going to be there.
Because while the shuttle was landing, you see they cut back to him, and he had like a slight smirk on his face, so he knew what was going on. So he was like, "All right, get the Dark Troopers online."
But did you know that he was going to this double cross?
Absolutely.
No, but I think he also went down there because he knew Bo-Katan was there.
I was completely like blown away when he just kind of said, "Okay, here, take the kid. I got what I wanted. I wanted the blood. I got it. Take him."
I knew he was going to.
I'm like, wait a minute, what's going on here, dude? This is. And I thought that when he spun directions and he went to go get him, he was just going to walk out and lock him in. You know,
that too, but I knew he was going to double cross.
Direction on him, and I'm like, he's going to lock him in. What are you doing, stupid? I mean, come on.
Yeah, but he also went there in advance to know that he knew Bo-Katan was going to be in the brig or in the command,
the party. Yep.
So he would rather have fought Mando than fought Bo-Katan,
right? Because he don't want to give up the Darksaber. See, my thing was,
do you think that was his thoughts? He'd rather fight Mando than Bo-Katan?
Yeah.
You think so?
I think so.
Now, I think he wanted to hold the kid hostage and use him as his leverage to either get away or whatever he needed. He was going to use the kid as the hostage. But now this is a cool fight scene between the Darksaber and the Beskar.
Well, we all knew that was coming. Spear. But see, again, when he went behind Mando and Mando was going for the child, he tried to take him out from behind. Like he even said it. Always assume I know everything. Well, he's wearing Beskar armor, so the lightsaber wasn't going to cut. So why would you even do that? It would have been much smarter to do what JB said: walk out, and lock his ass in.
Lock him in. Yeah, that
kind of disappointed me. I was like, all right, you have a really smart character who's always one step ahead, and he did something stupid. And that's the thing that always kills me when you have these smart villains, then they do the one stupid thing, and it's like, come on, he was too smart for that.
He's monologuing again.
What happens? What we assume was going to happen was Mando was going to take down Moff, and then take him to the command where everybody else was, and of course we get the big reveal about the Darksaber.
Mm-hmm. He walks in with the saber, and again, another thing that I found stupid. Why did you walk in with the saber lit? You could have just had it hanging from your belt. I
agree too. Why walk in with that lit like that?
Right.
I
know it was for the scene, but common sense. Why? Like it didn't make sense. Yeah. So it just kind of threw me. I was like, okay, we get it. Bo-Katan's going to see the saber, and we're going to have this interaction.
Saw the face on Bo-Katan, and now we're trying to think, why the hell did you so surprised all of a sudden? But
when she turned around and saw him with it, she knew what happened, and she's like, "Oh boy."
I felt like Moff Gideon explained to us prior to that scene that you had to earn that sword. That if you didn't earn it, then you didn't get the power that came from it.
I think he touched on it early when he went down because he said, "Oh, you're not going to kill me. This is going to be interesting."
Yes,
because he knew what was coming.
This is going to be interesting. And then when there's the reveal that you can't just give it to her; she has to earn it.
She has to earn it.
Right. But see that part again.
Now we talked about the lore that she said she was there to get the ship to retake Mandalore. Right. She wanted the blade.
Right.
But now they've got the ship. When I say they, the group has the ship. They've got the blade, just not by her.
Have a good one.
And it's setting up the next season is, hey, they're going to go take Mandalore.
Yeah.
Because Mando is the rightful ruler to Mandalore right now.
Yeah.
As long as he has the Darksaber. So unless she challenges him for it.
But and then who comes back from space?
Well, hold on. They go, we've got incoming we've got incoming. How many life forms? 0.
She said
a squadron of dark troopers is flown back onto the ship. And here they come. Close the blast doors.
Mm-hmm. Close the blast doors. Close the blast doors.
And they're all standing there in that. It's a very similar moment to most Westerns, right? That right before the showdown, right before the showdown, they'll look at everybody's eyes. Everybody's drawn. Yep. They go to his eyes. They go to her eyes. Their eyes. Hey, I'm drawn. Everybody's ready.
Smiling because he knows he's going to live.
Everybody's going to die.
He's seen a blaster off to the side, and he's covered it up, and he's like, "Ooh, I got an opportunity, to maybe get the drop on him," which he does try to get his drop on him. And then another incoming. Beep 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 beep, and it is a single X-wing.
Yep.
X-Wings coming in as soon as the Darksabers are pounding through a blast door.
Yeah, they're pounding this thing, and you're feeling the tension of the pounding as they're getting closer and closer, and the music is building the tension, and the music is building the tension, and then another another incoming, and it's the single X-Wing.
She's been the brilliant thing.
We're saved,
right? And the brilliant thing about that moment is every time Mando has been in trouble at the last minute, something has come and saved them throughout the whole season. So they've been setting us up for this. So that one X-Wing comes in, and most people are thinking, "Oh, what is one Republic fighter gonna do?" But most of us are like, "Ooh."
Quick question. I didn't go back and watch it again. I know JB said he watched a couple of times. Can you see R2 on that X-Wing when they fly in?
I actually didn't watch
it.
They
all have R2s. Every X-Wing's got an R2 on it.
Most X-Wings do.
You always see their dome. You can't tell, who it is until they get out.
And then
except for Poe, Poe at BB-8.
See, I didn't know it was Luke because I figured, okay, X-Wing coming in. But when they asked to identify himself, he didn't say anything. I was like, okay, it's Luke. Like,
when you saw the green,
you see the shadowy figure. At this point, it could be Mace Windu. It could be Ezra. It could be. There's still a couple of people. It could be.
And even when
as soon as the first. And you see green.
Even then, it didn't necessarily have to be Luke because they just showed the blade.
Come on, man! Nobody's had a green.
Everybody knew that green was Luke.
We know, but I was
and
thinking,
then you see the hand come out. It's the side. It's the side with the lightsaber and the black hand. You're like,
when they put the hand out, you saw.
Yeah, when you saw a hand,
I saw the lightsaber. That's how I knew it was Luke because that's Luke's lightsaber. So at
that
point,
the cut-off hand, the robotic hand, you knew that was Luke.
Yeah. I had my fingers crossed for Obi-Wan, even though I knew he was dead at that point. I know he was dead, and I was like, oh, come on, be Obi-Wan. I was like, oh, but he's dead. He's dead. It's not Obi-Wan.
So now we go back to something that I touched on in the first 5 minutes. Luke being the Luke that we never got to physically see in my lifetime.
Mm-hmm.
The Luke that I only got to read about in books and have to physically imagine what what it was like. I physically got to see the scene, that demonstrated that Luke was a Jedi.
Yeah. Oh, the other one, mini bots. Yeah, and that was pretty cool. A quick Easter egg. Sorry. That was similar to the end of Rogue One with Darth Vader, where he was going through the hall, taking them all out. He finished it the same way with the crush. So I was like, okay.
When you saw him crushing that dark trooper with the Force, dude, that was awesome. I don't care who you are. That was awesem.
There was a scene
he was cutting them in half. He's deflecting, their shots. I mean, he reminded me of I think it was Phantom Menace, the first time that Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan first get off, and you've got all these robotic troopers, and they're just like,
right, yeah, at the beginning, yeah.
You're gone out of here. You're out of here. Let me jump around a little bit. You're out of here. Like they were nothing. Nothing. And you could see the guys behind the blast doors going, "We're screwed. The Jedi are here."
Yeah.
And that's what it was. We got to see Luke be that Jedi and just laid waste.
And this is about 10 years after Return of the Jedi, so definitely he should be at a good power level at this point.
Oh yeah.
So, yeah.
Now there was a couple of hints when the X-Wing comes in. They showed Grogu in his ears.
Yeah.
Oh, he knew. He knew
that he could feel it. There's somebody here. He could tell there was something going on. He was on the screen. So they opened the blast doors. Now we already knew that it was Luke, but we had seen these Instagram photos for months now of the guy who's playing Winter Soldier,
Sebastian Stan.
I think on purpose.
Sebastian Stan as a young Luke. I've seen it. You've seen it. We've all seen it. It's been all over social media for months and months and months. So I was fully expecting the reveal to be Sebastian Stan saying he's Luke Skywalker. 100% expecting that at that point when he comes in and he throws back. I'm expecting it to be a completely different guy, and we're gonna just have to suck it up and go forward.
But no, it was the young Luke.
Yep. Yeah.
It's the CGI'd version of Luke.
Yeah. That's that Unreal. That Unreal Engine that they're using,
Uncanny Valley.
It was good though. You got to admit, it was good.
It looked good really until he started talking.
Yes,
and that's always where it messes up.
Yeah,
the mouth never moves.
Still,
it just
very few words. You know, are you a Jedi? And he's like, yeah, I'm a Jedi. And oh
shit! When that starts, I'm saying on TV, no crap, he's a Jedi, idiot.
Well, they don't know, you know.
So he's here for Grogu, and Din Djarin's like he doesn't want to go, and he goes, he wants your permission.
Yeah,
and he picks him up, and you have this is the scene, their last scene together, basically for who knows how long, and he goes to touch his helmet, and he takes his helmet off.
So
in front of everybody.
So what we assume is the first time Grogu's seen his face.
For the first time.
All of those people have seen his face.
In front of everybody. He's done with it. This is more important than anything right now. It's for this, because he's this bond that he's created. He takes off his helmet, tries his face, and then we get R2 come in.
Which was cool.
That was a little extra Easter egg. We get some R2 beep beeps in here. I can't. Good.
I had to give him a little leeway with that when R2 came in. I was like, okay, fine, R2, great.
It's fine, it's R2.
I was so upset there was Luke that I was just kind of like, oh boy. I mean, it was an emotional scene, and I get it, and I was with it, but I just didn't want it to be Luke. But then when R2 came in, I just had to go, okay, fine.
Yeah, but everybody was sad by that scene when he had that between Mando. And
right before the door shut, you get the scene of the cast now, the current cast of what's back there. You got Bo-Katan and the other lady. I don't know what her name is.
You got Cara Dune.
You got the landing party. They're all in there, and the whole point of what you're looking at is this is what's going to go forward. I really think. In my personal opinion, I really think that we're not going to even see Grogu next year.
Oh, do you think they're going forward? Because I felt like that was the last one.
No, there's already 3 seasons.
They already announced.
There's already 3 more seasons announced.
Three more seasons of who, though?
But it doesn't look like we need to see what happens with Grogu because he goes off to train with Luke, and they don't even have to tell us that story. Everybody's satisfied. We're totally satisfied with the closure. I'm personally satisfied with the closure of that story because now the real story is, dude, Din Djarin's holding on to the black saber, and he earned it.
He's going to go back and get Mandalore.
He is the rightful ruler of Mandalore. Yep. Let's see how this plays out.
Yeah,
that's what I think is the future.
No, they've already announced 3 more seasons of Mandalorian.
Yeah.
Wow.
And the more casual fan is probably like, okay, what about Grogu? I want to see the baby. But
I don't know where
the rest of us
here.
are like, okay,
they're going to go and take Mandalore back.
They're going to go take Mandalore back.
I thought was gone.
No,
that was the Empire spreading.
There was the purge of Mandalore
from going back there.
Yeah, there was the purge of Mandalore where the Empire did attack the planet, but there's no concrete evidence that the planet's been fully destroyed. Mm-hmm. So I think the Empire's been mining it for Beskar because it's one of the most precious metals in the galaxy, and that's
is that what we
think places to get it.
The Dark Troopers are made out of Beskar? Because I kind of felt like they were made out of Beskar.
No, they couldn't have been. No, because Luke cut them in half.
Yeah, cut them with the lightsaber.
He can't. Luke cut them in half. The Force can't even cut Beskar.
Well, what made me think that now is when one of the soldiers is pounding his helmet into the ship, and his head is actually going into the ship. Mm-hmm. That didn't hurt the robot's hand.
Sure.
Well, how could it hurt a robot though?
Yeah,
but his hand, if his hand is just regular metal, then it should have been dented or something.
Should have been dented in his hand.
Yeah.
Do you guys all watch to the end, waiting for an end credit scene?
Oh yeah. Well, I only think because you guys told me to.
No, I've been doing it for the whole time. I always do it. I do it in all Star Wars movies. I do it in all Marvel movies. I do it in movies. And I know people have told me, dude, there's no end credit scene. Don't wait. And I still wait for the light to come up and the guy to go, you can leave now, bro.
Yeah, leave now.
Just to make sure that I didn't miss anything. So I've always waited to the end.
I didn't watch
I didn't watch
for the end credits. I watched because usually at the end they show concept art. So I was trying to look. I was looking for concept art, and there wasn't any. So I'm like, all right, there's no concept art. So I tapped on my screen and I saw there was like 5 minutes left. I'm like, there's not 5 minutes of credits. So I knew something was coming. So that's why
coming.
That was epic though.
So Jesse Lou agrees with they're going to take back Mandalore. I just wanted to throw that out there real quick. Right. I don't think that I watched the credits. So what was in the credits?
Oh,
what did I miss in the credits?
We told you in the chat.
I know. What was in the credits that I missed?
Oh, they went back to Jabba the Hutt's old place. And
come on, man.
Sell. No, they went to Jabba the Hutt's old stomping grounds.
Yep.
Whoever took over for Jabba.
They go back to Tatooine. You can see the palace. You recognize the palace. You're like, oh, hey, that's Jabba's palace.
Yeah.
And remember Jabba's crony, that one that whispered in his ear, that little surly son's bitch. Whatever his name was.
Bib Fortuna.
Bib Fortuna. Now, Bib Fortuna, he's put on a little weight.
Yeah.
And Bib Fortuna is sitting heavy in the throne of Jabba.
He's on
and
Jabba's
from the
throne.
stairs, you know that staircase that Luke came down, that famous staircase that Luke came down when he said, I'm a Jedi. Well, you start seeing fools falling and hearing lasers. Mm-hmm. And Bib Fortuna's like,
this guy doesn't.
So in my defense, I was so pissed off by the end of this one that I figured Mandalorian was over that I didn't care if I cut it off then, if I cut it off 20 minutes ago. I was so pissed at that moment. But they go back to Jabba's place.
Yep.
And what's her name?
What's the girl's name?
Fennec Shand.
Fennec Shand, the lady.
Right.
She is the first one to walk into the room after laying waste to everybody. Mm-hmm. And she basically kills everybody but the big fat dude in the middle.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Bib Fortuna. And Boba walks down.
Comes walking in, and you hear it.
Bib Fortuna looks at him and goes, "You're alive."
Did one of those. Like, oh, I thought you were
Boba, you're back.
Hey, nice to see you. What's it going? You guys want to go have a drink? And
Boba's like,
and Boba don't play. He just straight up shoots, bam, caps him, gets up, throws him off Jabba's throne, sits on the throne basically with Fortuna sitting over his shoulder,
drinking.
Fennec Shand sitting over his shoulder. Sorry, and yeah, it's on.
Then all of a sudden,
that's the next story. Let's find out what he does when he gets. Now he's pissed.
Now it's going to be a new show, the Book of Boba Fett.
The Book of Boba Fett.
But see, I don't know though, because they said that the next Mando is in December, and then they announced the Book of Boba Fett in December. So I don't know if it's going to be a separate show or if it's going to be part of the Mandalorian.
They didn't announce.
So maybe that's what the next season's about.
I know, but that's what I'm saying.
Exactly what I was thinking.
They announced that the next Mando is going to be in December, but then they just announced Book of Boba Fett's going to be in December also. So are they going to be together in one show? Or maybe, because remember, the Mandalorian show is in chapters, so a book of Boba Fett could be one of the chapters.
That's what I was saying. Maybe that's the title of the next season is going to be the Book of Boba Fett,
or
the Mandalorian Book of Boba Fett,
or they're going to run them together and have one drop on Tuesday, one drop on Friday. Like, you could do that. At Disney, they could do
doubt
that.
it. I seriously doubt it, because Disney has made it like openly known that they're not going to compete with themselves and that they have so much. I watched it one time and I can't remember who it was I was watching. They were showing like their timeline and how they come up with how they place things and what they do with it. And it's a huge undertaking on how they're not going to compete with themselves. They carefully place what's coming out at what time to not compete with themselves, but to compete with Sony, compete with Universal, to compete with those guys, but to not compete with themselves.
They're not announcing either. I just saw something just released today that they're talking about with the second season finale revealed, the Book of Boba Fett for release in December 2021. It is still unclear whether this is a spin-off series or the third season of Mandalorian.
Right, exactly.
I think it's going to be the third season. I think that's definitely what they're going to do. They have to do something. Look, I was so pissed off when he walked off with the child. It's like they just look. I would have rather them left me in a cliffhanger of like him still getting the child than not knowing where the next season.
But that's where I've had some people ask me. It's like, well, the first two seasons were all based around the child. Now that the child's out training with Luke. What do they have? I mean,
the show is called The Mandalorian.
Mando can go back to
Mandalorian.
Well, I think we all
Mandalore back. I don't think we've heard the last of Mando with the Darksaber though. Even if they go to the Book of Boba Fett on the next chapter or book or whatever the hell this is. I really think that this is not the last of Mando we've seen.
Oh, absolutely not.
There's no way it's the last of the Darksaber, man. They're gonna make so much money off that toy he just showed. Are you kidding me?
Oh, dude, you want to know?
Go to Disney. Go to Disney Springs. They're all over the place.
Look at that.
Listen, when it first came out, it was $20. Then it went up to $25. Now it's $30. They keep upping the price on.
Yeah, they're gonna see what you'll pay for it. Funko does the same thing. They keep raising the price until they find the top.
I got it for 20. So
20, smart guy. I just seen it the other day for 30, and I didn't pick it up.
Yeah,
I've got too many lightsabers sitting around my house as it is.
Oh, I had my other
but I think y'all still need to come and make a lightsaber down here with me.
At some point, I'm going to get a real lightsaber, but I've got a few of them sitting around the house about like that.
Yeah, I got my sabers. I be walking around the street with them.
So what I was saying a second ago, though, is I think all of us, when the Mandalorian first started, we were afraid that the child would take over, right? We were afraid that he was going to take over, and it wasn't no longer going to be the Mandalorian; it was going to be about the child. And then at some point, we forgot that, and we were rooting for the child, and forgot that we didn't want him to take over. But now that he's gone, it's like, where does this story go from here? I didn't watch it till the end, so I'm going to go back and watch those end credits. So now maybe I won't be so pissed off, and I won't be saying I'm done with Star Wars.
If you watch the whole ending again, in the reason of saying I think there were reasons they had to do Luke. There was no other person that they could have done than Luke, because that was really the only Jedi Master that we knew of.
Exactly, that we knew of.
Well, I think they wanted to show us his power. I think that JB, and JKO, and they were saying that they haven't seen the real fighting scene. I think they wanted to show us a real fighting scene of Luke, like a real one, not with him fighting Darth Vader or learning how to use the Force. A real he's
at the height of his.
He had
powers.
He did one of them where that thing was coming at him, and he just kind of did this and slung it into that elevator, and I thought, oh shit, look at that. I mean, that's bad.
I think one of them he actually pulled towards him so he could cut it in half faster.
Yeah.
He's like, come here.
They had to give Luke his due, just like they did Boba Fett.
It was awesome.
So it was good. I mean, like I said, I enjoyed it. I just didn't want it to be Luke. I understand why.
I think only the true fans, the only real true fans, didn't want it to be Luke because of multiple reasons. Didn't want this show to be about Luke. But again, I think you got to remember is for the average viewer that is watching this, which is probably, I would probably claim about half of the viewers that watch The Mandalorian aren't the diehard people like JKL and JB. But they completely made the full connection with Mandalorian to the rest of the series.
And I get it. And it was good. And again, it didn't become the Luke Skywalker show. He came in, he took Grogu, he left. And they did that in the cartoons too, where they crossed over with Princess Leia and Lando and R2 and all. So having them come and go, that's fine. And I understand that part of it as far as this goes, but I just didn't want it to be Luke.
Wanted it to be Yoda.
Yeah, but I was satisfied with how much he owned those Dark Troopers.
It was good.
I was satisfied with how much he owned.
It was really good. See, my thing though, like a lot of people are saying, "Oh well, Luke is the most powerful Jedi living right now," and this and that, and I'm like, no, he's not, because Ahsoka is still way more powerful than Luke at this point.
Yeah, but I think if you even had a scene with Luke and Ahsoka, though, Ahsoka would still claim Luke to be more powerful.
Nah, she would body him, man.
I think there was even a split moment that in my house we were like, "Is that Ahsoka?" I mean, because there was a split second that we were, because
it was just in the hood.
Yeah,
it was just in the hood. It could have been.
Yeah.
We hadn't seen any lightsabers yet. If it would have been a double,
but Ahsoka doesn't fly an X-wing.
Until I seen his hand, and then I was
not
like,
that we know of.
Done.
Oh. But that's all right. Listen, because Ahsoka, she already doesn't claim the Jedi anymore, and I understand she's getting her own show, so I wasn't expecting it to be her. But people keep saying Luke is the most powerful, and it's like
I was still hoping for Mace, but
at this point, Ahsoka is more powerful than Luke.
Well, Easter eggs.
Well, that we know of. Again, we never saw that point between him being old and him ending, so we don't really know how powerful he got.
At this point, nah, she's more powerful because she's had a lot more training than he has. she's trained with the Jedi for years. He trained with Yoda for like a week. There's no way. There's no way.
JKL, give us the Easter eggs.
Easter eggs.
You got them. What are they?
All right. At the beginning, we saw Bo-Katan's ship in live action for the first time when they landed it outside the bar. There was a ship with like the wings straight up. That was her ship, which was pretty cool. In the bar, the cantina, there was an Aqualish and a Rhodian in the background. That was pretty cool.
You know these.
I don't know how you remember these things.
Well, the Aqualish I didn't remember last time, but that's like the walrus looking ones. But since I've been watching stuff, I got it back. The guy that was running with Bo-Katan was missing. Axe, I don't know his last name. I didn't bother to look it up, but
yeah, he was
missing, and nobody cared because, as you can see, nobody mentioned him.
They needed the scene to be all women coming off the ship going shoot him up. That was part of the harkens back to the Marvel. You know, how am I going to get from here to there? You just flew through a ship. What are you talking about? Who cares? You don't need these women to go block that briquette.
But if you rewatch Endgame, they did help because they kept Thanos busy while Captain Marvel got away. So anyway, Boba Fett mentions that Mandalore got turned to glass. He's referencing the purge of Mandalore because that's the official word that they glassed the planet, but most of us don't think it actually happened. Boba Fett also calls Bo-Katan princess, which means he knows who she is because she's the rightful. Well, she claims she's the rightful heir to Mandalore because she's the last person who had the Darksaber. And Bo-Katan, of course, by the voice, she knows Mando's a clone. So it's like they both kind of, trying to one up each other. That was pretty cool. Let me see. When Casca Reeves mentions the Bacta tank, that's about the first time I think we've heard the Bacta tank mentioned in the show. She also did the power-up DDT because, of course, the actress that plays her is a wrestler, so they had to throw in a wrestling move, which was pretty cool.
Yeah.
We had some cool phrases. The Quacta calling the Stifling slimy, which is a play on the pot calling the kettle black. And the skank.
Oh wow, that went completely over my head.
Holy moly, man!
The skank and the scud pie, kind of like the fly in the ointment. So I was like, okay, they're making up their own phrases. I'm gonna start using those. People gonna think I'm crazy.
I'm gonna start using that.
No, you know what JKL is gonna turn into?
That's a little skank in the scud pie right there.
Yeah, exactly.
JKL is gonna turn into that if you're talking about like Star Trek, the people that know how to speak Klingon, maybe knows how to speak Star Wars.
I'm gonna write
saying all the Star Wars phrases.
JB says, I'm writing that down right now.
I just found them funny because when they said them, I was like, did he just say the pot calling the kettle black, but in Star Wars?
He did.
That's cool. When Dr. Pershing's talking about the Dark Troopers, he was saying that's the third generation of them, which means from the game, they're kind of adopting the lore that, they used to be humans, then they were cyborgs, now they're just droids. So that was pretty cool. The dubstep music as the droids were powering up. I don't know if
that was awesome.
It.
That's
Go
what Jessica was talking about.
So
that beat was awesome.
Oh, it was so cool. I gotta find that music. That was so cool. When Gideon was talking about the Darksaber has to be won in combat, I was just kind of like, we actually talked about it. Sabine gave the Darksaber to Bo, so I don't know why that was that, but we talked about it, so I guess it makes sense. Bib Fortuna at the end when he took over for Jabba, he did that in the books too, but those were the Legends books, so I guess they kind of threw that in to say, okay, we're going to make it real, but Boba just came and killed him, so I guess everything that happened in the books isn't going to happen anymore. Let me see. The shuttle pilot who mentioned Kara's teardrop, so that means he knew about Alderaan. Let me see. Oh, the funny part when the guy said he was on the Death Star and Kara was like, which one? And implying that we blew up both of them. So which one were you on? Like, I kind of like that. Let me see. I spoke about how Gideon said he knows everything, but then tried to kill him, which didn't make sense because he should have known. And I don't know if y'all heard it, but at the end, well, Wayne didn't hear it because he didn't watch it. But when Bib Fortuna was talking and he said McClunky, y'all know what that's from? That's the word that they did in the special edition of Star Wars right before Jesus, what's his name? Greedo shoots Han Solo in the bar. They changed his dialogue. So now he says McClunky, and everybody's like, what the fuck is that? It's just become this joke of a word, but they did another McClunky. So
I would have never picked up on that.
And two things that's not really Easter eggs, but kind of had me thinking. Like, first of all, when the Dark Troopers are trying to get onto the bridge and then the X-Wing lands, they automatically stop. Like, why would they stop? How would they know the X-Wing landed? Like, how would they know somebody was coming? It just didn't make sense. They should have still kept pounding in and probably would have killed everybody before Luke got there. So that didn't make sense. And like, how did they know Luke was a Jedi? He walked in there. Mando says, "Are you a Jedi?" He's like, "Yeah." Like, a Sith would have been like, "Sure." Like, how do they know he's good? Just because he came for the child, that doesn't make him a good guy. So I was just kind of like, okay. But that's pretty much it. That's all the Easter eggs that I found.
Now, do you speak R2 as well? I mean, come on. You got what you got on that?
Nobody speaks R2, but you can always kind of understand what he's saying based on the reaction of other people. And he was probably just giving his explanation to Grogu, like, man, listen, because remember, R2 has never been white, so he remembers everything. So he's probably like, listen, I knew your father. Because we all know Daddy Yoda.
I'm still saying Grogu's a clone. I'm still sticking with that.
Nah, he's not a clone.
JB, you have anything going on next week you want to talk about?
Yes. The kids are out of school for 3 weeks and starting on Monday, 6 a.m. Pacific, 9 a.m. Eastern, Monday through Friday. The 30-minute revised version of the morning lineup returns. If you have not been in one of those, I'm making it so it'll be much easier to watch on the rewind. As a matter of fact, I kind of gave it just a little taste of it in my share screen. You know, when I'm normally sharing content, now there'll be a countdown timer. So there's only really 4 segments to the new show, and each show will have a countdown timer, so you know how long till we get to the next segment. The show is going to consist of 4 segments this time. We're going to have the Nerd News segment, the IG Tag of the Day, the live stream playlist, and then we're going to close the show with a live chat shout out, with each one being about 5 to 6 minutes long. So the whole show will be under 30 minutes. And we're going to do it 5 days a week, starting on Monday.
Nice.
That sounds cool. JKO, you got anything you want to tell us about?
Let's see. I just dropped a video today. I got a package from Funko PDX. We kind of traded Pops because he got the translucent invisible girl, the Venomized one, and I got the metallic thing. Like, he wanted the thing, I wanted the invisible girl, so we traded. And he sent me some extra gifts, so that was pretty cool. Next week I have my Christmas Pops video coming out, which is pretty much just a rundown of all the Christmas Pops I have in my collection. And then I got other stuff after that whenever it comes out. That's it.
Chris, anything going on you want to tell us about?
Yeah, I should have a video at some point this weekend. Probably have my Magic Kingdom video out probably Tuesday, and I don't know what on Thursday. I'm going to try to put something out right before Christmas. But and then of course we have our Wayne Tech experience on Christmas night, and I'm officially moving Techbot After Dark to 8 o'clock instead of 9 o'clock, so that way I can stay awake for it.
Nice.
Since I've done this twice and I've fallen asleep just before we were supposed to start.
Bearded Barbarian hit me like, hey, I was already asleep.
Yeah, he hit Wayne. Wayne's trying to call me. My phone's on silent because of the show. It was crazy.
So, well, hey guys, I really appreciate y'all hanging out. Maybe we'll get back together and do like a WandaVision or something to that effect coming up here.
We can always come back for WandaVision.
If you guys
absolutely.
Yeah, if that's something y'all are down to. I am about to wrap this up and get out of here. I've got to go to a birthday dinner here that I've got reservations for that I didn't, plan on having technical difficulties there at the beginning. So I'm going to wrap this up, guys.
I think that was an awesome season, guys.
If I don't get to talk to y'all before the holidays, Merry Christmas, guys.
Yep. Have a good one. Have a good one.
Have a good one. If I can get this thing to stop. What is it again? You hit which button again?